episode of Be My Guest. I'd like to first and foremost thank all our viewers for your comments, all your support. It's been amazing. We've been so encouraged. Well, on today's show, I'm so excited. I have a young man. You know, all my guests are young. He's got an amazing journey to share with us, and you're going to be very interested, so make sure you sit down, don't go anywhere. But I'm going to introduce him right away because he's got so much to share with you. It's none other than the Worshipful, the Mayor of Thurrock, Councillor Tunde Ojetola. Welcome to the show,
Thank
Mayor.
you. Thank you.
Wow, we've been trying to get hold of you for a long time. You've been busy.
Sorry. Sorry.
I understand you just came from some events today as well.
Absolutely. I've been to 2 events this morning. There's a lovely events back in Thurrock where one of them was meeting about 1,000 children who are looking at their career path. So it's encouraging them to take the right choice in the A-levels and to encourage them to go to university if that's what they want. If they don't want, then encourage them to take up vocational studies.
Wow, that's very good. Well, you have a very lovely political career. I know you've been a councillor for over 13 years. You've been deputy mayor for 1 year. And congratulations, this year in May, you became the Mayor of Thurrock.
Thank you.
But let's take it back a little bit. Tell us a bit about your humble beginnings. You know, were you born here or where did you school?
Thanks. I was born here at Camberwell.
Oh, Camberwell, Southeast.
Yeah, drove my children, I've got 2 children, I drove them past the hospital where I was born.
Is the hospital still there?
Yeah, St. Thomas's.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, and I was born here, started primary school here, and then we relocated to Nigeria. So finished primary school in Nigeria, I did the whole of secondary school in Nigeria and university also in Nigeria.
Wow.
Actually did what is called the National Youth Service in Nigeria, and then after that worked a couple of years before coming back to the UK. Yes.
Right, so you went to university in Nigeria.
Yes.
And what did you study?
I studied history with a strand of political history, which won't be surprising.
I see. So tell us how you got into politics.
Well, it's funny, you know. I'm a Christian. I believe God ordains our plans.
That's right.
I'd always liked to be a community supporter. I don't like just sitting down criticizing without being involved. So I used to pick up local newspapers and see funny things going on and have an opinion. And then from there, I decided I'll join the local community forum, as it was, and that helps out. Just makes representation for that little community.
That was here? Or
no, that was here actually. Okay. That was in Purfleet in Thurrock, where we were living at the time. And so I was involved in that. And it's funny, I persuaded them, I think, to organise a Christmas event for publicity. And that's where somebody from the Conservative Party spotted me, and the rest, as I say, is history. Yeah.
You mentioned Conservative. So how did you make up your mind which party to join? Now, obviously, everybody has their own ideas and policies and views. But what was it that did it for you to say, this is the party that I want to join? Not without giving us details of the policies, but what is it that makes you feel?
Well, it's funny you say about their policies.
Yes.
Well, to me, you can't make your mind up to join any party without actually studying the policies of both parties, and that's why I did. I studied the policies of 2 main parties, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. And to me, in the grand scheme of things, overall, on balance, I thought the Conservative Party held more of the things that I held dear. And so it was a no-brainer for me to join the Conservative Party.
That's interesting because I know, the communities, African community, Black community, most of them are in other parties. So there's a small percentage in Conservative, but your values are very important, and you've grown up, you've moved up the ranks in such an incredible short time or space, which is amazing.
Thank you.
So you must be bringing something to that party.
Well, thank you, and I think it's across board is that when you, and what I ask people to do, people ask me all the time, why in Conservative Party? I say, take the principles, the long-term principles of all the key parties, study them, think of your own values, either as an individual, as a Christian, or whatever, and then make up your mind about what it is. Yes, there might be some a bandwagon in one party more than the other, but I think as Christians, and I'm a Christian, we need to be involved in government. We need to, I go to a church, Grace Outreach Church, and our policy vision is influencing the nations for Jesus. And to me, to be able to influence, you need to be on the inside to influence. I don't want to be on the outside criticizing and just saying, I'm on party A, not party B. I want to be on the inside to be able to influence from the inside. So that's what I'd implore people to do.
So when you were in school, secondary school, university, were you involved in politics or were you involved in societies and things like that? Did anything start your career?
Yes. I was.
Tell us, yes.
Oh, right, okay. Well, back in secondary school, I was involved quite a lot in a lot of social debates, literally in debate in society. We used to read the news to our local assembly in secondary school, and I used to be one of the news readers. So I was very much involved in it there. In university, I was in the students' union, so I was an elected community school representative in university. So I was, as they call it, honorable at the time. Yes, so I'd been very much involved in that and worked with the registrar to organize, be an MC at events. I did it so much in university that people must have thought, are you actually studying at all? But I used to study at night and then do a lot in the daytime.
So you've always been interested in politics and
absolutely, yes.
Being someone of the people,
absolutely. I think it's quite important that a lot of us, no criticism, but a lot of us want to make a change. A lot of us don't know how to. A lot of us maybe just therefore have a comment or put it on social media to comment. But I like to, I said to a well-known friend and supporter, sorry, I'm going to name drop, Reverend Nims Obunge, I think you may know him. Yes, I said to him one time, I want to be, because I know he advises MPs in Parliament, and he advises Prime Ministers, no matter which colour of the party. And I said to him, he advises Prime Ministers and MPs. I don't want to be advising them. I want to be in the room when the decision is made.
That's right.
So I want to be a decision maker. So yes, we get advice, but you get your advice, you give your advice, and then you go out and a decision is made based on the advice you and another has given. But I want to be in the room to be able to be part of that decision being made, and maybe to be able to argue my case, and if possible, vote for what I believe in, rather than influence from outside. So
I think that's important, that we don't just complain, but we get involved and understand what is going on and be part of the change. So in Thurrock, what's happening in Thurrock? Tell us about your home borough.
Thurrock is a lovely dynamic place where, if you think about the political setup, it's quite interesting. Politically, the borough is split almost three ways. We have 18 Conservative councillors, 17 UKIP councillors, and 14 Labour councillors. The 18 Conservative councillors mean the Conservatives get to form the administration, so they run the council. They have an MP who's a Conservative MP. She won by just over 300 votes this time around. Last time she won by 500 votes, and the first time when she took over from Labour, she won by 92 votes. So Thurrock has always been very interesting. But dynamic-wise, Thurrock has changed from being majority, well, it's still majority white, but it's changed quite a lot. I always quote this stat, about 2001 when I got involved, Thurrock was 6% minority ethnic group. As of 2011, Thurrock became 18.5% minority ethnic group, and so you can imagine now 2017 that would have grown even more. And so what that means is that the dynamics of Thurrock itself is changing, and then what I'm trying to do is work with councillors, work with members of the public to ensure, especially with the council, to ensure that the community is aware of these changes.
That's good.
That's what needs to be done. It needs to the community, the leadership of the community needs to reflect the community that is there.
That's true. I mean, my husband and I were privileged to be at the voting when you were made mayor. And you had to choose a consort, if I pronounce it right, consort, mayoress, and who did you choose?
Well, it was a difficult, no, it wasn't a difficult decision. But my wife has been at my side for all this while. She's very supportive, actually. She's very pushy. She pushes me quite a lot, and she only it was only right for her to be my mayoress.
That's right.
It's funny, it's a consort if they're not married, if it's a mayoress if they're married, and so Bumi delightfully accepted my request for her to be my mayoress.
That was so nice. And you have two lovely children who I know are very supportive of your work. Your son is just a carbon copy of you. I won't be surprised if he gets into politics when he grows up.
No, it's funny you say that. I won't be surprised too. Was it last election or something, or when Cameron's last election, my son came to me and said, why don't they do so campaign? And I said to him, oh, that's a good idea. Write a letter to the Prime Minister. And he thought I was joking. I said, I'm not writing the letter. I'm putting it to him to write the letter. And he wrote the letter to the Prime Minister. I sort of helped him to how to this. And so he did. And unsurprisingly, he got a reply back, from the Office of the Prime Minister, thanking him for his suggestions and his contributions. And, I thought that to me, that's part of what it is. He has an idea. I'm not stealing his thunder.
Yes,
He's got the idea.
Yes.
He should say it. Yeah. And so that was his first dabble into this. But now he's involved in students' council and his student leadership in his local school. So
you can see you've influenced him. So
well, hopefully so.
That's very good. So talking on that now, people that are interested in getting involved in politics, or where do they start from? Like you said, even in school, you take on little roles, you get involved. What would you encourage people to do?
And I'd encourage everyone, if you're in school, get more involved. I always tell people, there's always a consultation going on. Respond to those consultations. Read about the news, not just the national news, the local news, things that affect you a bit more. The only way to make a change is to be actually actively involved in that. So I encourage people to get involved. And if they then want to go further, they should actually register with a political party. You don't have to be a member of a political party to be a councillor, but it tends to help. So actively look at the policies of all political parties and join the right one, the one you consider to be the right one, and then be active in that. And hopefully then you get selected and you get to represent your area that way.
That's right.
I go around speaking to students, to schools, to parents to get involved.
Oh, that's good.
And if I may, the only other thing I would say is, even if you're not involved in politics, still get involved. There's still school governorships that are always looking for members. Your local hospital would be looking for membership of the hospital. You can be a member of the hospital, you can be a governor of the hospital, you can be a trustee of loads of corporations, and you gain experience that way. Because if you don't tell the communities that you are about how you live, how your society is, how your traditions are, your culture is, they won't know, and there won't be anyone to tell them. The only way to tell them formally is to go to these meetings and get involved. And that's been my key motto, is to ask people to get involved.
Very good. Well, before I talk about another country that you're from as well, that you have roots with, what are the two charities that you
for this year, thank you.
This year,
For this year, I have chosen two charities to assist in publicity and fundraising. One is called the Thurrock Community Chest, and they raise loads of money to support other charities. Like just this weekend, they had a raffle gone over the year, and just this weekend I went to give the keys to the car for the person who won the raffle. So it's very well supported.
That's good.
They've got local car dealers who have every year donated a car, and people bid for that and everything. The other charity I'm involved in is Thurrock Contact the Elderly. And this is a smaller charity, but they're very useful, helpful charity, and they seek out elderly who are either widow or widowers and invite them once a month to a meal. So a sort of 3-course meal or 4-course meal, and a bit of entertainment, a bit of socializing, and it helps them remove some of the loneliness, because a lot of these people during the week don't have any engagement with anyone. So it's quite good. They go out, pick them up and bring them to the event, and then give them a goodie bag at the end of the day. And that's supported by Marks and Spencers and things like that.
They bring out
food that they don't sell anymore. They donate that food, and it's cooked, and they have a warm meal, things to take away, meet friends, meet people, and they also celebrate birthdays. We've celebrated 80-year-old birthday, 90-year-old birthday at the event and everything. So we're really pleased to be involved in that
That's
charity.
Good. That's good. And we're definitely going to put all the details up, so if people want to support those charities,
yes,
please feel free. Yes, well, talking of Nigeria, Nigerian politics, do you ever see yourself maybe possibly getting involved over there in the future?
Well,
for a season?
That's a very interesting question, Pastor Joyce. As I said, I'm a Christian.
Yes.
And I'm going to say I walk, my steps are ordained by God.
All right.
Right. And therefore, but more seriously, I think people in Nigeria are very well capable of getting involved in the politics in Nigeria. Where they need assistance, I'm happy to support. I've worked with the Nigerian High Commission in the UK.
That's good.
To help them look at some consultation, respond to consultation. I've drafted responses. So we work with the High Commission and the people, the team there quite a lot, and I'm happy to do that. Actively involved in politics in Nigeria, I think I'm actively involved here. Okay. And while I'm actively involved here, I'd want to concentrate here.
That's good. That's good. So from mayor, what's the next step? Maybe Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? That'd be nice.
I think that as much as that would be nice, yes. I think there are a few stages first. Obviously, you have to be a member of Parliament first. Right. So if that opportunity avails itself, then I'd hope to do that. We have quite a few people of Nigerian heritage who are now involved in Parliament from both of the major parties. We've got this year, even the Conservative Party had 2 newer MPs who are now representing their constituents in Parliament. So,
and I'm sure you will join very soon as well.
Thank you, Pastor Joyce.
I mean, I must say your political career has really grown rapidly, and I'm sure even the sky is not your limit. But I'd like to congratulate you again for being Mayor for Thurrock Council, and I'm sure this journey is going to be a great one, and I'm sure it's not just going to be a year, so get ready for more opportunities.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That was the Worshipful, the Mayor of Thurrock, Councillor Tunde Ojetola, sharing with us his political career, a bit about his journey from young age up to the age he is now, which is still very young. And I'd like to encourage us to get involved in our local communities, in our schools, our places of work, in our churches, so that we can be a voice, we can add value to what's going on in our countries, to our communities, and in our nations. And I'm sure together we will make this a very beautiful place to live together in harmony. So until another episode of Be My Guest, as I always say, please stay motivated, encouraged, and inspired.